Hey, what's up everybody? It's Awall here with FTW Broadcasting, and thank you for tuning back into my Procity series, where I give you tips on how to play SimCity 5. Be sure to share your tips in the comments below in the video to help me become a better player and to help everyone else who watches this video become a better player. If you have not already checked out my video on industrial startups, link in the video description below. This is the Black Lung over here. It's a low wealth industrial town. I'm getting ore, coal, and oil from this town, all low wealth population. That city's doing quite well, massively profitable. This is the low wealth town in my region. The one we're going to cover today, the Pinnacle, is going to be our medium wealth town, our gambling town. And then this town over here, which is currently called Clearwater, this will be our high wealth town, our highly educated town, and it will have tourism as well as high level industry on board and culture. So that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to have low wealth, medium wealth, high wealth. I'll be able to share all three resources with all three and make some meta level videos later on. But in the meantime, let's check out this gambling town. So the first thing that you need to consider anytime you're going to make a gambling town in this game is what types of people exist in your region. What types of folks exist in your region? The most important question, hands down, the most important question. In my region, there's tons of low wealth population in my region because of the Black Lung. As you can see, there's a massive traffic jam right here of people waiting to get in my city. Now, is this because of poor city layout? Yes, it is. Why? Well, as you can see, I've got a unique design on how my city looks. I designed it like this because I like the way it looks. However, this is not the maximum efficiency here. Arced roads does not produce the maximum efficiency for your city. At the end of this video, I will talk about pitfalls with arced roads, but in the meantime, we'll just talk about gambling cities in particular. So, since low wealth folks are already in my region, I'm going to realize, knowing this about gambling houses, that they attract majority low wealth tourists up to 100 a pop, but they also attract up to 110 medium wealth tourists as well if you beef up their medium wealth tourist elements. If you look at this low wealth tourism place, I can get up to 190 low wealth tourists here, and by default, casinos only come with 50 medium wealth tourists capacity. So I'm going to make sure to cater to both equally, considering that this town will have its own population of medium wealth people, and then from a neighboring town, I will have low wealth people literally lining up to get in. So is this build profitable? Is this build what you should be doing? I don't know. Take a look at these numbers. This medium wealth gambling house has 11,000 a day in profit. This medium wealth gambling house has 4,000 a day in profit. This low wealth one has 14,000 a day in profit, and this low wealth one over here gets 35,000 a day in profit. So, that being said, the gambling element of my city is massively profitable. Just one quick note here, I did put Maxis Manor right here next to all of these casinos. Why? To scare off the crooks, of course. And also I put the shuttle depot right here as well. Why? Well, I'm going to explain that in just a moment. So, first things first, when it comes to building a gambling house, when should you build one? You should not build one super early. I recommend waiting to build your first gambling house until your population exceeds 7,500. Until that point, you will build a gambling house and it will just sit there and be sapping your city dry in terms of resources. Gambling houses are very expensive to run. However, obviously they become massively profitable. This guy's saying poor attendance? Come on. There's way amazing attendance. I'm massively profitable, but still. Don't build one until you have about 7,500 people in your town. Then, what I recommend is building your first one as a low wealth gambling house. So that's what I did over here. So let's talk about a configuration on how to build a low wealth gambling house. Okay. First things first, it comes with a massive low wealth capacity already. Okay, and a minimal medium wealth capacity. But if you want to appeal to low wealth, which I did here, go ahead and park it by your highway like I did. Throw down the marquee right on the highway. This will attract tourists. The marquee actually attracts 180 new low wealth tourists per day and 180 new medium wealth tourists per day. You can't actually get a low wealth or medium wealth specific marquee yet. Once you get up to higher level casinos, then you can. In order to attract low wealth people, I've experimented with every configuration of casino, and here's what works best. you're going to want to get one, what I call an attractant, which is this comedy club. And the comedy club is right here. The comedy club attracts 720 new low-wealth tourists per day. This attractant is what you need to put right here along the highway. Then you need to have somewhere for these low-wealth people to spend their cash. So then spend your other slots, two of your slots, on nickel slots. No pun intended there. Nickel slots are made for low-wealth gamblers. They can hold 45 people. You attract people to the comedy club, then both of your nickel slots fill up with low-wealth people, and then you make tons of cash. However, just like in real life and any casino, the main emphasis on like Las Vegas casinos or Atlantic City are the hotels. They'll let you stay at that hotel for free because they know you're going to gamble during the day and then you're going to wake back up the next day and you're going to gamble again. So what you need to do is build cheap rooms to keep these low wealth people here overnight so that they come back and they gamble once more. So the configuration is the same with low wealth as it is medium wealth in this game. You're going to build one attractant, 2 gambling facilities, and then 1 lodging per gambling house. This formula works fantastically. As you can see, this thing is massively profitable. Next door, I built a facility with the exact same configuration for low wealth. It's got 14,000 in profit. It's less profitable because it's a little bit off the highway, but it's still massively profitable. Okay, on the medium wealth things, let's cover what medium wealth means. I'll briefly cover this because we more or less covered all the basics just a moment ago. To attract medium wealth people, you're going to want to put up a lounge. That is their attractant. The lounge is for classier folks, and it's got singing, Tony T, etc. It draws in 540 medium wealth people. Then you want to drop blackjack tables. 2 blackjack tables, so the folks are attracted here. As you can see, they're all very attracted here by this lounge. They'll come spend their money here, and then when you want them to stay overnight, you go ahead and throw on some nice rooms on top of your casino. You do have a slot on top of your casino to put nice rooms, so utilize the nice rooms, and then they'll stay overnight and come spend some more cash. I've got the exact same configuration with the casino next door, and it is massively profitable. So that's amazing, right? So I have 4 casinos being sustained by a less, well, it was being sustained actually when I had 18,000 population in my city. All right, so what are some things that you can help sustain that? Because it doesn't just happen on its own. And it looks like my SimCity's having problems. That's what I love about this game. There's always problems that come up. So how do you sustain this? Like I said, I have a shuttle bus depot. Let me send Max's man out, by the way. I have a shuttle bus depot right here in the middle of what is going to be my gambling district, what is essentially at the peak of my pinnacle here. It's all going to be sci-fi casinos and such. How do you properly use a shuttle bus depot to make you more cash with your casinos? Here's how. You set up a fantastic grid of bus stops in your city, and you max out your damn buses as fast as you can. Once you reach about the 15,000 population mark, I maxed out my buses. My average wait time was down to about 10 minutes, and it funnels people into your casino. Right now, my town is a balance between low wealth population and medium wealth population because of 3 factors. 1, you drop the mayor's house in a residential area, it will attract medium wealth people. 2, you drop a soccer field in your region, it will attract medium wealth people, and also a baseball field in your region, medium wealth people will show up. However, I still have these strips of low wealth population as well, and that's okay. I need them in my town to support these lower level casinos in the meantime. Once I get to mid-game, I'm going to more or less eliminate my low wealth population in my city by placing so many medium wealth parks and so many medium wealth attractions around my city that the low wealth people won't be able to afford to live here because the price of rent will go up. And this has already started to happen. If you look at my city hall right now, they have been protesting high rent the entire game. And the people protesting high rent right now are the people who are low wealth. Why? Because this city is heading towards medium wealth. So this is my mass transit grid. What I recommend is placing 1 bus stop every other block going upwards, going north or south, if you will. What I call these are the vein roads, going north and south up your city, and placing 1 every other block going the other direction as well if you have a square-shaped city. Since mine is arc-shaped, I'm actually putting one on every vein because there's a massive distance in between these blocks right here. There's a massive distance in between here, what would normally be cut in half in a square-shaped city. So that's what I recommend. Every other block for bus stops is good. But so why is it that these guys are bringing massive traffic? Why is it this transit system is bringing massive traffic to my casino? Here's why. You can maximize 3 bus stops and close for power again. Oh, I just put up new power. It's okay. That's SimCity. I can't record any video without something going wrong because I'm talking too much. But you can put 3 bus stops in front of every gambling house, and that's what I did. The second you do that, you will just start making cash. People will show up. Make sure you put one on one side of the road next to your extra gambling attractions, and then at least one side of the road with your main gambling house itself. That's what I've done here with this gambling house, with this gambling house, and with this gambling house. I have experimented by bulldozing these bus stops and then putting them back up. The profitability, it increases my profitability by about 40% the second I put those down. Okay, so in terms of mass transit, that's not the only element that you're going to want to do. Park and rides are super important. Park and rides are a secret sauce for me, and here's what I mean by that. So let me get out of the mass transit view, and I'll come show you. Where are my park and rides? I need to go back in my mass transit view to actually see them. Okay, here they are. Park and rides. Park and rides allow you to have a maximum capacity of 80 Sims at a bus stop capacity. So what you can do is set up these park and rides around your city just like in real life. People, instead of driving their cars to try to get to your casinos, they'll drop off their car at the park and ride, and then they'll ride over to your casino. Put one what I recommend with these is one every 3rd block on a square shaped city. On mine, I've got one every other, simply because the arc roads create a lot of distance in between residential areas. These themselves become their own bus stop, keep that in mind. If you have attractions like a soccer field, baseball field, tourism attractions, etc., I highly recommend dropping a park and ride next to those. It makes a major difference. I've monitored traffic with the baseball field and also with the soccer field. Things get jammed up before and after games, and if you have a park and ride there, it helps in a massive way, just like in real life. So all those park and rides are gathering massive population and then funneling the shit out of them into my gambling facilities. As you can see, these buses are just lined up in here, just pumping in people into my casino. And that's what it is. And this is how you concentrate mass transit to benefit your casino setup. How is my city doing overall? Well, I would be even more profitable, but I have taken out 2 bonds. And why did I take out these 2 bonds? Once I hit the 22,500 population mark, about the 20,000 population mark, I take out bonds so that I can create additional gambling facilities and just drop them. And they cost a lot of cash to do so. Generally, you will not have as much money in the bank as you need to drop a 15,000 casino and then drop all the extra add-ons on top of it. You're talking about, a 30,000 investment right out the gate. That's very tough to do when your population is only at that point and you don't already have casino infrastructure. Casinos pay for themselves immediately if they're powered up. Casinos pay for themselves in no time flat. You put one down and your profitability goes down because of the bond, and within 5 minutes of in-game play, if you do what I told you in this video, you will be making more money even with the bond than you were before. It's pretty awesome. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and pay off my bonds right now to show you how freaking prolific these gambling houses have made me. And it's really annoying me right now that I cannot power up my gambling houses while I'm trying to show you how awesome they are. What a shame that is. So I'm gonna go ahead and put up some more power here, just so I can power those suckers up. Okay, so that's more or less the basics of gambling, guys. So as you go into your mid game, what you need to keep in mind is where is the population coming from. For me, low wealth is coming from this side. So ultimately, I'm going to shift the focus of this to medium and low wealth on this sector of my gambling. Ultimately, high and medium wealth is going to be coming from this side of the highway. So I'll be shifting my focus here in gambling to high and medium wealth. It's not rocket science, guys. You give the people what they want, and then they come and they spend your money in your casino, and you make tons and tons and tons of profit. This can be a launching point too for anyone who wants to make other kinds of cities. So say your region is rich in some sort of resource or coal, I can't even talk today, or coal or oil. That is, or coal or oil. That is kind of a tongue twister. And say you need a good way to start up your city and generate additional revenue so that you can get towards that level of infrastructure, go ahead and build a gambling house. Have that gambling house appeal to the type of wealth residents that are in your region and in your city, and they will generate massive profit for you. Seriously, 37,000 a day. This is my first gambling house that I dropped right here. 37,000 a day. That is nothing to sneer at, my friends. So, that's more or less that. So let's talk about arced roads. So if you're wanting to create like a tourist attraction or something beautiful, right? Arced roads are a pain in the ass for new players to figure out how to use properly. They are really tough. Okay, first things first, I'm not going to recommend arced roads. Arced roads are not efficient if you're trying to be a leaderboard caliber player. If you're trying to be on the leaderboards, arced roads are a waste of time. If you're just trying to have fun and create something beautiful and cool and unique like I have, then go for it. This is a video game after all. Yeah, this one in particular is competitive, but I mean, come on, let's be real right now. I know a lot of people play this game with aesthetics in mind. So here is the best way to build an arced road. I'm gonna show you right now, because it's very, very important, because it can become really annoying if you don't know how to do it properly. So, okay, if you just try to create an arced road without having some guider roads there, without having some sort of grid to work off of, like check this out. So say I'm gonna go from right here, see how the arc is already here? Say I'm gonna go from right here, I'll cross this arc over to here. Notice how SimCity is retarded, and it doesn't know how to follow its own guideways, or it doesn't know how to follow its own arc. So say I try to create the arc and go to this point. No, it has no idea how to follow this grid that it's already been given. It doesn't tell players that this is how you're supposed to do things, etc. So what you need to do is build off of your current roads, build a straight line with what I'm calling the vein roads, avenues, whatever you want to call them. You build a straight line with one of these, right? Build a straight line with one of these. And then I'm just going to build 3 of them just as an example, because I'm going to build these anyway. Okay, I actually used the curve road tool to make those. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Then, now that you have this, you can connect, and now it just forgot the grid. So you see how silly the grid is? The grid it just told me about, it just forgot it. But if I create an arced road here, and now the grid is gone. Why? Because these roads that I created were made using the curve tool. Do you see how touchy the curved road tool is? So now we have to bulldoze these roads and only build straight roads. Curved roads are a real pain in the ass, guys. I highly, highly, highly recommend against using curved roads. Unless you think they're beautiful for some reason, then go ahead. So, let's go ahead and do this once again. Now, boom. Now there's a straight road. Now it's understanding what I'm doing. Okay, straight road. Now it keeps the idea of what I'm doing here. Straight road. Come on, straight road. There we go, straight road. Now, did I just screw up my grid because I made that straight road? Yes, I did. So I didn't do exactly what it told me to do, so now it doesn't understand. So you see what I'm talking about here, guys? The grid goes away. It's actually your fault that the grid goes away. Okay, there we go. So you have to build it to the grid. You can't get creative with the grid whatsoever when building curve roads. That was the example I wanted to show you here, guys. I showed you all the different screw-ups. You can make everything right, but then if one element of your guider roads is incorrect, then it'll screw everything up. And now, look at that. Now the grid is gone. So, case in point here, guys. I just did everything right, and now the curved roads, I can't build them. Now I'll have to arbitrarily wait for the game to tell me when curved roads are coming back. Seriously, there it is. Now they're back. Now they're back. Here we go. You guys see how touchy that is? It's a real pain in the ass. It's not recommended. It's not recommended whatsoever for new players. You have to click your existing curved grid in order to set up the new grid, okay? So that's that. Create guider roads, then you can make curved roads, and you can make your city look pretty like mine. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes. Will I ever do it again? Probably not. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Link in the video description below, and I will be making more tips videos for you for SimCity.